The Oakland chapter of the NAACP in California is urging city officials there to declare a state of emergency over what it calls an intolerable public safety crisis. Listen.
We had to say something. We was too quiet. We was too quiet. And as you know, the old saying say, a closed mouth never get fed. And we had to open our mouth. We had to say something. And it's not just about one race. It's about everybody.
That was the Oakland branch president, Cynthia Adams, talking to my colleague Leland Vitter. She and Bishop Bob Jackson of the Acts Full Gospel Church wrote a letter late last week calling on public officials to confront the barrage of public safety issues that community is facing. They say highway shootings, home invasions, and killings have become a pervasive fixture of life in Oakland. And they say it is not racist or unkind to want to be safe from crime. Joining me now is Jeff Asher. He's a crime analyst and co-founder of Datalytics. Thank you for being here. So this is a real issue in Oakland, but also in other communities, but specific to Oakland. Where are we seeing the biggest jumps in types of crimes that are happening?
So in Oakland, we've seen a large increase in the number of murders from 2019 pre-COVID to today. But the year-on-year change from 2022 to 2023 is about a 13.5% decline in murders. That generally tracks with what we're seeing nationally. We have a sample of 109 big cities. And in those 109 big cities, murder is down 12% year to date relative to the same time frame last year. Now, that the context is important there because you're having a 13% decline this year, but it comes after a historically large rise in 2020 and another large rise in 2021. So we can still see a 13% decline nationally and have murder still up 30% relative to where it was in 2019. The same situation is happening in Oakland. If we have a 13.5% decline in murder this year relative to last year, you'd still have about 50% more murders in 2023 than there were in 2017. So you can talk about the trend. The trend is positive. The trend is going down. But you can also acknowledge and agree with the overall sentiment that the number of murders, the rate of murders is still far too high for anyone's liking. Right. If one murder is too many, 100 is 100 too many.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. One is too many in any community. So they're asking for a state of emergency. The NAACP Oakland letter says failed leadership, including the movement to defund the police, our district attorney's unwillingness to charge and prosecute people who murder and commit life-threatening serious crimes, and the proliferation of anti-police rhetoric have created a heyday for Oakland criminals. Jeff, what impact is the defund the police movement having on crime in that city?
We haven't really seen any clear correlation or any clear connection between defund the police and the idea that budgets have actually changed and a change in crime in really any city. The change in crime that we're seeing are really nationally, and Oakland is really following the national trend, which suggests that the causes of the change in crime are much more national. It's not because of a change in local policing strategies or a change in the prosecution of a certain type of crime. Prosecutors everywhere want to prosecute murders. The challenge is that there aren't necessarily enough arrests being made on murders. The clearance rates for these crimes are too low. And the general factors that are driving these types of crimes are tending to be more national in stature. So thinking about things related to the social justice protests in mid-2020, the pressures of COVID, the added stresses that came with COVID, decreases in policing nationally, which we're also seeing in Oakland. And then those are the factors that we think probably led to the increase in 2020 and 2021. And then as we talk about some of the decrease in 2023, it's hard to not think that COVID going sort of towards the background, where coronavirus is not necessarily the thing that is at the forefront of everybody's mind every day. The pandemic phase of COVID has ended, is leading to programs being restarted, leading to people leading more normal lives again here in 2022 and 2023, which is likely to be the more attractive explanation for what's driving the declines rather than a very hyper-specific issue related to one locale.
Right. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.